So I was last week years old when I learned something pretty significant about CRCC complaints. If you have an issue with the police, specifically the RCMP in Canada, and this is separate for if you have a municipal police force, you go through the commissioner. It is not a CRCC complaint. I think you go and you file the complaint directly with the police commissioner. In the case of the CRCC, it is presented like an independent investigation and an independent review of your complaint, the conduct of the employee, the officer, the police officer that you were complaining about, and just the situation as a whole, their conduct or lack thereof, etc. Turns out that is not what it is. It is actually completely an internal review. It is not an external review. So what this means is this false impression that you are given that the CRCC is independent from the police or the RCMP specifically, it's not fully accurate. Because first, they send the complaint to the RCMP. Then the RCMP assigns either a police officer from a different division or a retired officer to do the investigation on this police officer. So basically, colleagues investigating colleagues and RCMP officers investigating RCMP officers. You don't get the independent review unless if you appeal. Then the CRCC actually looks at the complaint. To give you an idea how long the process is, I believe I submitted my CRCC complaint in March, if I'm not mistaken. We are now late July. I know that an answer or a decision has been made. I don't know what that decision is yet. Am I optimistic? No, because they didn't even file my complaint correctly. And then after my initial interview, where I told them that I was about to go into a trial where we would find out more and possibly I could, give them more evidence for my claim, I then contacted the investigator who never contacted me back, never answered my calls, never called me back, never took the new evidence. In my case, I was complaining because an incident in February where I called 911 because I found a camera live streaming my children in the living room. I called 911 and it was a DV situation, and there was basically a police officer gatekeeping my calls. They were taking all the calls that I was calling through the DV situation that I was in, or regarding the DV situation that I was in, and he was gatekeeping them. And that particular time, he not only didn't come and investigate the matter, he actually screamed at me on the phone, ridiculed me, didn't know the law, and finally violated intimate partner violence protocols and the women victims of domestic violence protocols of New Brunswick, violated both of those protocols and decided instead to call the person that I was alleging had that camera and was surveilling my children and I. And that person then lied to the officer and then said the truth in court on the stand of what actually happened that day. Not directly, partial truth, but still fully contradicted the statement they made that night, which that corporal used to justify closing the file as unsubstantiated allegations or unfounded allegations, and essentially scream at me like I'm delusional, forcing me and my children to flee. That officer, who is not a doctor, may I add, also went out of their way to send supporting documents on my behalf a month prior to social development. But instead of them being on my behalf, he told them I was unfit, mentally speaking. He's not a practicing physician or mental health professional. And I had mental health professionals who wrote letters, formal letters, as evidence that they also declined to collect, the police declined to collect them, noting and documenting the abuse and noting and documenting my fitness as a parent. All this to say that the CRCC is not real. It is misrepresenting itself. I don't know whether it is underfunded or what is going on. But if you're going to claim that it is an independent review, but all your reviews are done internally, and the RCMP gets to find the decision as to whether or not the complaint itself is founded or not, but you also have the issue of the RCMP refusing evidence, I think we have a problem here. And I think we also see a pattern. Anyway, if you filed a CRCC complaint and you're worried that you're going to get a result that is negative, don't let them gaslight you. Appeal. And if your deadline to appeal is over, write them a letter explaining what you just learned about the CRCC and why you're requesting an appeal now. Protect yourselves. Do you feel the discomfort yet? And more importantly, what are you going to do about it?